Short people, they got little hands and little eyes. They walk around telling great big lies. They got little noses and little tiny teeth and wear platform shoes on their nasty little feet.
Yeah. Keep going.
They got little baby legs and they swim slow. You gotta pick them up just to say hello. They got little cars that go beep, beep, beep. They got little voices going beep, beep, beep. They got grubby little fingers and dirty little minds. They're gonna get you every time. Short people got no reason to live. So true. That's such a nice way of saying millions must die.
A really timeless piece.
Yeah.
From Randy Newman.
Yeah, I love Randy Newman. He's a Nepo baby.
Is he? Who are his parents? Paul Newman?
No, he wishes. His dad, I think, was a major like studio composer.
Nice. Well, when nepotism goes right.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of comments about this NYT op-ed. There has never been a better time to be short by Mara Altman. In it, she argues that being short is, of course, not only genetically advantageous, but morally virtuous for climate change reasons.
Yeah, because they use less resources. Mm-hmm. And she, I guess, was put on some elected by her parents hormone treatment when she was a particularly short child. And
right, yeah. She injected herself with something called Humatrope, which is a human growth hormone, for 3 years. Now, as the mother of twins who are, quote, small for their age, she intends to let nature take its course and not intervene in their heights.
Oh.
I found a 2014 interview with someone called Mara Altman, who I'm assuming is the same Mara Altman
IVF.
from the op-ed.
Is it about IVF?
Yeah, and in it she outlines her doubts about having a baby, and she submits herself to like a series of experiments, which include taking a prenatal yoga class, renting a lifelike baby doll, wearing a fake pregnancy belly, and she even manages to write a Kindle book about her doubts about having a baby, even though she is married and cohabitating.
Okay.
My first thought was how much you want to bet that those
twins are IVF.
The irony of like not wanting to inject your
exactly
kids with HGH.
Not that you should, but
no, I know. But it reminded me.
But
remember
to talk of nature taking its course and overpopulation.
Yeah, a while back I mentioned, I think it was over the summer, many episodes ago, this anecdote my Syrian Jewish girlfriend told me. Mm-hmm. And many in the Sephardic community give their children puberty blockers to postpone the onset of puberty in order to maximize their height. Yeah. And the irony of that being that these people are notoriously conservative and very strenuously object to using puberty blockers in pediatric gender reassignment.
Right.
But will, of course, selectively administer it to their children if it means like gaining a few inches and presumably like certain advantages in the like marriage pool. Mm-hmm. But the other bigger irony, of course, is the New York Times is reporting kind of skeptically and condescendingly on the practice of parents giving their children growth hormones, but are on the whole very favorable about giving them puberty blockers. Mm-hmm. Many ironies. I have a lot of quotes. She cites some pseudoscience. She says, ages ago, when the necessity of defending oneself cropped up daily, if not hourly, tall people could more easily protect their families and bring home some woolly rhino flank. Our success as individuals does not depend on beating up other people or animals, even if it did. In an era of guns and drones, being tall now makes you a bigger target.
Come on, that's crazy.
Then she cites some real science. On average, short people live longer and have lower incidence of cancer. One theory suggests this is because with fewer cells, there's less likelihood that something goes wrong. She talks about how others go to extremes in pursuit of a few extra inches. More and more people are spending as much as $150,000 to get excruciating limb-lengthening surgeries.
Ronan Farrow.
Huh?
Ronan Farrow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
New buccal fat.
Just dropped. Yeah.
But this piece was even a bridge too far for Matt Iglesias.
What did Maddie say?
He called it neo-Malthusianism in response to this quote. Short people don't just save resources, but as resources become scarcer because of the Earth's growing population and global warming, they may also be best suited for long-term survival, and not just because more of us will be able to jam into spaceships when we're forced off this planet we wrecked. Yuval Noah Harari, in his book *Sapiens*, wrote about a population
on
of
Lex
early
Friedman's
I know.
reading
I was like,
list.
this sounds like a book that's on Lex Friedman's reading list.
AstroTurf.
Yuval Noah Harari, in his book *Sapiens*, wrote about a population of early humans who inhabited an island called Flores. Because of a rise in sea level, the island was cut off from other land. Big people who need a lot of food died first, Mr. Harari wrote.
It's a book. It's a fictional book?
*Sapiens*. It's one of these, I think, actually don't be so doomsday, because we've made a lot of progress. Steven Pinker-esque, like airport books.
I liked when she talks to her former endocrinologist and asks him why parents whose children have no underlying medical conditions sought growth hormone treatment for them. He said the pursuit of height made sense in capitalistic society.
Yeah. Every doubt, blame capitalism.
Yep, everything is big. He said the buildings, the businesses. Quote ends there. But she elaborates that he went on to explain that parents reflect the mindset that bigger is better when envisioning their offspring. This twisted bitch.
Yeah. She surveys another endocrinologist.
What a lunatic thing to say.
Here's a thought experiment. Substitute every instance of tall with obese.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Not beautiful.
I'm sorry, it's not beautiful.
But I was only half
Peterson, you idiot. Stay out of it.
the pro-immigration, pro-obesity thing. Clearly, tall people are the real problem, and we have to whip out our machetes and cut all of them down.
Mm-hmm.
And it has everything to do with climate change and diminishing resources, and nothing at all to do with the fact that tall people are just physically more attractive and commanding. Nothing at all to do with our contempt for natural hierarchies that can't be hacked. They can't be hacked by social engineering or word games.
Well, what do you make of Steve Saylor's response to Maddie Iglesias? Where he said, "You and I are both very tall, but I find female prejudice against short men is a major social problem that contributes to the low marriage rate. But these days, nobody dares criticize female bigotry against the shorter half of the male population, even though we should get over it."
I mean, I agree. I think women's tastes are also probably very algorithmized now. Because they're fundamentally also like mimetic and contagious. And if one bitch says under 6'1" need not apply, so does every other bitch.
Right.
I'm not like the other girls. I only date 5'9" and under.
I don't need a man to be over 6 feet tall. I guess, I mean, I do have an aversion to manlets that feels...
Well, shorter than you. That's my deal breaker. I can't.
Well, you're shorter than I am.
Yeah, I'm short, but like I average in America. I would not want to date a man who's shorter than me.
Yeah, but you're average. I'm slightly taller.
Yeah,
I'm taller end of
average. Is taller than my preferred average height.
Exactly. Yeah. So whatever. The heart wants what it wants. I could fall in love with anyone. If they were racist enough. I mean, there's really, I don't know.
Eli's 6 foot tall model ex-girlfriend had this crazy story about how she met a man in a French cafe who was like so shockingly handsome and witty, and she fell in love with him within moments of meeting him, and they talked for hours at this quaint little table, and then he got up and he was like 5'6", and she was like, oh.
That's tough.
And that makes her sound like she's a callous bitch, but I get it.
No, that's
totally a normal, standard, reasonable response.
And I was surprised to see Sailor. I don't know, because that feels like such a...
Well, he's humble bragging.
Well, he didn't volunteer the information. I asked.
You asked, yeah.
Um,
But he did volunteer the information.
he said, "I'm very tall."
He said, "I'm very tall."
He said, "I'm very tall," but it's nice of him to advocate. I get, maybe, I don't know, but it
he
seems
was very subtle and tactful because he didn't advertise his exact height, but he did technically
he did say he was tall, but it seemed atypical for him, you know, within the realm of human biodiversity.
Yeah.
To have such a prescriptive sort of take about what one ought to, you know, what traits one ought to desire in someone.
I mean, it seems that following Sailor's logic, which I think he certainly actually believes in, because what you see is what you get with him, there's a wealth of diversity among humans, and so there will be a wealth of diversity of sexual preferences.
Yeah, but that's not what he was saying.
What was he saying?
He was saying that
There's
women...
a bias against short men.
Yes, and that women... We need to address female bigotry.
Well, how do you address something that's also probably fairly natural and instinctual?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that was why I was
the lady
a
does
little...
protest too much.
I don't know. And you don't have any problems in that department, Steve. You seem like you're just the right height.
All these
My
women
man.
in New York, specifically these two women, are flooding my DMs.
They're asking me about Carpatho-Rusins. They're asking me why some people are good at tennis.